Welcome, parents, to the college application process presentation and a little bit of information about dual enrollment. I want to start this by just reminding you that this is a process, and the process starts right now. Whether it's late summer all the way through early spring, mid-spring, the process goes from one beginning to the end. It's almost like a domino effect. And so I encourage you to work with your child to go through this process so that everyone knows what's happening, everyone knows when things are supposed to be due, and it'll make the house a lot less stressful. So let me also say thank you for working with your child from kindergarten all the way through currently their senior year. You've been with them through every step of the way, and I want to make sure that you know where this information is so that you can continue to help them. The college information is located on our counseling website. This presentation will probably be also linked on the counseling website, as well as the other counseling information presentations. Last Friday, students were sent a very extensive email that had a video, about 34 minutes, on the college admissions process. So please remind them that it was sent, that they have it right in their fingertips, and but they can still reach out to the counseling office anytime they need. So while you have helped your child over the last 12 years to get to this point, it is now your students' turn to do what they need to do to get this done. There are things that you can help them with, but there are things that they must do on their own. Whether it's financial aid, they need to know how to do it. There's parts of it for them. So that part you can't help them with necessarily, or you can't do it for them. And certainly the application process, they need to complete that process. So please work with your students, but push them to get these things done on their own and on time. Basically, the application process, I boiled it down to 4 main steps, and I want to go over them with you. So as your student has some questions, you can refer them here, refer them to the other presentation, or refer them back to the counseling office. The first step is to visit the website of the college they plan to attend, or the college they plan to apply to, rather. They will find multiple options on the Apply Here page. I say go there first because many students are going to Common App first, and some colleges aren't even on Common App. There's only about 900 out of the 3,000 in the country. So they always go to the website first and then look to see what the options are for themselves. The third step is to complete the application and review other requirements. All of that, again, will be on the college website. There may be other requirements such as SAT-2s or essays or letters of recommendations or supplemental forms that need to be sent to the counseling office. All that information will be on the website of the college, so that's where they need to go first. After they visit the website, they find the apply page, they finish the application, review other requirements, then they make an appointment with their counselor after they've submitted that first application. The counselor will walk them through the transcript request process so that they know how to do it for the rest of their applications. So there's 2 items that I mentioned that oftentimes comes up, and that is essays and letters of recommendation. The letters of recommendation are not required at all schools, and so the student really needs to do some research because many times they're asking for something that is not needed. It slows their process down, and it ties up the teacher to do something that they don't actually need to be doing. So who should write them and how many are needed? Again, it will be on the website of the college or wherever they went to apply. It'll tell them exactly who should write it. Sometimes they will have options to ask anyone, and some of your other more selective schools may say 1 letter from a math teacher, 1 letter from a science teacher. So it depends on the school. Okay. And it'll also tell them how many are needed. It is not necessary to ask for more because the college will not accept more or won't read more. And if they don't ask for them at all, they're not going to read them. So it's important that you know whether or not it's necessary. How are they sent? That is through Naviance, along with transcripts or through Naviance. So your student will be in Naviance for this whole process. And when they meet with their counselor, we will walk them through it so that they know how to do it correctly. Ultimately, students should really research each school before asking for their letters of recommendation. As far as essays are concerned, many schools don't require them for the application process. So again, that research is important so your student is not getting nervous and anxious, worrying about something that they don't need to have done. They often ask, what should they write? And I tell them if you go to the college website first, it'll tell you exactly what to write. And although sometimes it'll just say personal statement, and in those cases, students can write about whatever they'd like to write. It's a personal statement. So ultimately, I tell students, just relax. Answer the question, answer it thoroughly, Just use well thought out ideas and statements, have great grammar, and save every letter. Oftentimes, you can recycle letters or pieces of letters for other applications, or more so for scholarship applications. I've worked with a student that had to write 43 essays, and it was very helpful to be able to use different thoughts and ideas from some essays that were already written. So a word about dual enrollment. This is a great way to save money. You can help your child be more prepared for college because they have that level of rigor. They can find direction and such that they can take courses throughout the general ed listing that they may want to try this or that before they decide what they'd like to major in when you're paying full price for those credits. They can certainly complete college credits early, and that will definitely enhance their academic profile because when it's time to apply, they will have a college transcript and they will have a Wilson transcript. So some other thoughts on dual enrollment. The process begins in the classroom, and that will happen very, very shortly. Their teacher will be talking to them about dual enrollment, and that may have already happened. And it will be followed up with an email from Mr. Greaves, who is our coordinator. And that is because this process deadline is coming up very shortly as well. So the credit amount is $99 per credit or $297 per 3-credit course, and that is a great savings compared to what college classes would normally cost, which is why this is a great way to save some money. The deadline for the application is October 9th. It's fast approaching. There's not a big turnaround, so make sure when the student gets that application in class that they complete what they need to right away. The process we're going to talk about today is mostly the Reading Area Community College dual enrollment program. However, if your child is interested in the Penn State or Albright dual enrollment process, it is different, and so they would need to reach out to their counselor for that information. There's a website in our school counseling website that is specific to dual enrollment, and it gives you all of these details. So please make sure you go there for that info, and you can also contact Mr. Greaves, who is our dual enrollment coordinator. It's important to know that there are two parts to the dual enrollment application process. One is paper and one is online. So the paper application has 2 pages, 2 sides rather. The first side is the form on the first side really explains the FERPA process, and in the back of it is the actual registration form. Okay, so it's important that the student gets that in class from the teacher and completes it. That'll then be submitted to the counseling office by the deadline. The second part of that application is online, and that's where they will go right on Reading Area Community College's website. The packet that they're going to get in class will show them or lead them right to that link, and they need to complete that as part of this overall process. Just know that new dual enrollment students only need to do this. So if your child has had a dual enrollment class in the past, they do not need to complete the online application. Lastly, there are some great resources for you to review with your students. This whole presentation should be on our counseling website shortly, but there's a link here for the counseling website, our scholarship tab. We have a virtual financial aid coming up next week, Wednesday, September 23rd. The link to that virtual meeting is right there. We have a presentation done by our FIA coordinator, our FIA representative for Pennsylvania State Higher Education Assistance Agency. And then also there's a link in here for the dual enrollment page. Ultimately, thank you again for working with your child for 12 plus years, and I wish you the best in this whole application process.